Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. What's up, everybody? Which is probably just like one people or no people. But hello. Let's go ahead and do this and start getting everything set up as we go. Got that. I haven't done this thing in a while, so we're going to use it just for that something different. Damn it, stop overseeding it. Hey, perfect. Save him back. Stop it, Bobo. Yeah, that's cool. I'm good with that. Of course, I got rid of my thing. Thank you. Stop and Bobo. And anywhere else look neat or decent? What is this? Yeah, all little grass strips. Welcome to Papua New Guinea. Okay, cool. Long flight. Let's get into it. 441 nautical miles. Except I do not want to be running. I want to be on the ground, on the Grizzy. Set his departure, on the ground, shut down. Ewer? 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 Oh, because I got rid of my fucking fuel too. Here we go. Why is that doing that now? Ugh. Ewer. Actually, just set his arrival. And I think since this is doing... There we go. Okay, and I'll just do the fuel trick once we get here. So I don't have to go deal with all that configuration resetting and stuff. You should not be running. There you go. Okay, real quick, let's do this so I can get this screen settled. East USA, 67 milliseconds. Update the description for anybody wishing to fly along. Okay. Saving back. Resume. And we're good to go. Okay, cool. Welcome to the next leg, day 33 of Matt Flies Around the World in a Helicopter. For whatever masochistic reason. Okay. I believe we've gotten rid of everything that we need to. We have Elaine back. Thank you for showing up to work, finally. This is a two-person helicopter, so she's here. Against my will. Can I not go back further? Oh well, okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Aircraft, we'll do checklist on this one. Just because there's a lot. Doors, parking brake. Is my parking brake here? Off, on. Cyclic pedals, those all work. I was wiggling those earlier. Battery switch on. Instruments check. Altimeter set. So let's see, we have battery on. Altimeter. What's up, Ronnie? Yes, we are in the Chinook today. Haven't done it in a while, so I figured, why not? Why not give her a whirl? Let me see what elevation is here. Just because I'm in a very unknown area. VAT. I don't want to listen to ATC or anything. Pit elevation 141 feet. High altitude limit, low altitude limit, no. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that looks good enough. 2888. We'll take it. Condition levers were on stop. Pitot circuit, pilot circuit breakers in. Co-pilot circuit breakers are in. Cool. Let's get into starting up this bad boy. And we'll get that there. Okay, let's see. APU start, APU gen, fuel pumps on. So that will be APU start. Once that starts doing things. Sounds good. APU generator on. Fuel pumps on. And cross feed to the on position. Standby. Set hydraulic power transfer 1 and 2 switches to the on position. Let's see, hydraulic transfer to the on position. Flight controls free, collective, full travel, condition lever set to ground. Engine 1 start. It should be watching gauges moving. Engine 2 start. Generator switches on. Hydraulic things off. Make sure I have my collective in the right position for all this. APU switch to off. APU master switch. Off. Condition lever set to flight. And we should be good to go. Let's get this fixed right here. On this screen. Okay. All lights look good. Up, up. Lock, load, and detent. Rotor speed's good. Blah, blah. Does this thing ever start working? Nope. Okay, let's do this. What's the name of this fucking place again? Teminabaun something? Whatever tower. This is the big fucking chinook that's sitting in your ramp. We got myself, Andy Lane on board. Thank you for shoving her back in here. We are ready for departure to the southeast. Whatever tower. Park and break off. Let's go ahead and pull up on the collective. Start blowing everything around here over. Also need to start tacking in the fuel. So we're topped off on fuel now. We should be. Yep. Topped off on fuel. Start our turn and head to the southeast. Don't want to jinx anything, say it's an easy flight today, but feeling good. I'm going to reset my view. I got to lean way forward, and then press my view reset. Sitting back will put me back, so now I can finally scoot to the appropriate position, because it wouldn't let me scoot back any. This feels much better here. Very cool. So yeah, we're into it. Ronnie, hope you're doing good today, dude. Out there in the beautiful land of near Lake Tahoe, somewhere. We are here in the beautiful, but in its own way, land of Indonesia, Papua. We're not quite in Papua New Guinea yet. Kind of in that general area. Yeah, we just got a 440 nautical mile flight today. 140 knots of speed. Then maybe 3 hours. Hopefully a little bit less. But we got a fast helicopter. I didn't want to break out the 160 again. I'm kind of reserving the 160 and the 145 for overwater autopilot usage type things. So we'll stick to this for now. Since I know you're more of just a watcher, and my yappers aren't in here right now, I'm just going to kind of cover some ground while I can. Get my ponies up. We're only at 40% torque. Let's toot that up a little bit. What do you say? We'll get moving. This is the angle I gotta keep to do a 140, 150 knots. Just some low clouds. Okay, cool. It's just not going to be foggy crap today. It's just some low clouds. I'm looking forward. It looks fucking terrifying. Gotta look up. I'm gonna work my fucking angle. I'm enjoying going to the left right now. Let's see what's my head. I need to hold about here. So we're like 120, 130. Okay. About something I want to set down here real quick. I feel like I was forgetting something on the checklist, but I just want to make sure. Y'all like that? Just throwing on the brakes like that? Hell yeah. apparently slowing down and losing a shit ton of altitude is a bit of a chore. Who would have thunk? My hand on my parking brake button, so as soon as we touch down, boot that on. Okay, now what I'm looking at here starting engine, APU, fuel pumps, and crossfeed on. Okay, for some reason I was thinking I had to turn the crossfeed off, but I think that's in the what's it called? The other big one, the S64. Park and brake off. Pulling back, pulling up. So we're good. That's what I'm saying. Definitely enjoying turning left. I think that's because I'm used to my feet having a little bit of left pedal in from doing the bell the other day. Wednesday? Yeah. Tomorrow's 2-week testing of my product. That'll be cool. Excited for that. Need to clean the headlights of my car. I need to do a brake master cylinder on the motorcycle. I went to go do a rear brake skid yesterday and my foot just went straight down instead of actually actuating anything, so I gotta get that fixed. Big thing I'm looking forward to is this weekend is air show type thing, type whatever. So I'm excited to go see that. It's open PvP if anybody shows up, but that's only if I don't have my dog. If I have my dog, you're not allowed to do anything to me. Low altitude, so waiting for looking down for a split second. More people getting in here now. Hello guys. Today we're flying over Papa. Not quite in Papua New Guinea yet, but we're in Papa. In Shuguk. my mouth's not working anymore. Cool. Okay, back to speed. I'm finished looking around, I promise. For now. Trees and rainforest and stuff down here, isn't there? Clouds look thicker up here. Not looking forward to that. We'll get low, preferably. Yeah, I like the low option. Seems like she's more well behaved today. That's good. Kind of purposefully aiming for the clouds here. I don't think it'll be thick enough to go IFR fully. But we need to get out of it. It's just a quick pull up or a quick push down. Weird thing I've noticed with the Chinook, once it hits a certain speed, you pulling back on the cyclic is basically useless to get any sort of adjustment, because it's like you hit your max speed here. I'm only at like 40% torque, but you'll get max speed. You'll get to V&E, and you won't be able to pull back. Like I was noticing it back when I landed in that field back there. But to get any attitude, pitch adjustments, I had to put in the collective, and that would change the orientation, which is weird. Not what I would expect, but it makes sense. It was just different. It's like once it hits its optimal angle for cruise and how the blades are moving and everything, it wants to stick there. Whatever that effective, efficient range is. got my chat shut down. So if anybody says anything, I'm gonna be in it here for a minute, just doing my thing. If I can think about anything to yap, it's for y'all to enjoy and Elaine to have to suffer through. Also wild that it's not putting water in the rivers here. It's just kind of counting it as fields. Maybe the rainy season or wet season here is so different that they just don't register it the same. Maybe it was just so brown of water because of the rainy season that they just didn't consider it. Nothing like Alaska though. Alaska's erosion patterns were fucking wild. Like, there's little river offshoots and stuff here, but Alaska was just so significantly different than everything else. Definitely don't want to call these as boring as water crossings, because water crossings are, but there are there's no elevation changes. There is a lot of not much out here on the northwestern part of the Papua New Guinea Islands, Papua New Guinea main island, whatever it is. Ocean off to our far right now. Yep, well, bay or whatever. Hopefully Tom's busy now. I know it's been raining down there a lot for them, keeping him not working, so hopefully he's off doing shit today. Good for him. Oh. Hopefully Georgia Plains Spotting's having a good time with his family, doing stuff on his vacation. I hope all my homies are doing good. alive out here. I don't even know what would be out here. Also, I do need to double check the where cats are in the game. And we did have somebody donate, so whenever they have cats, I need to let them know so we can go find one. I want to say it's more Thailand-ish area. I'm not sure. I remember at the end of the stream we'll check that to make sure. I don't want to have to backtrack any. Cut? Or is that just bad rendering? Because if it's square cut, that means we're near some form of civilization. See what this is. We have an oil rig out here. If so, we're gonna go say hey to the oil rig. So right off the point of this. Might be an oil rig. I didn't know we had one out here. And so we'll be doing the first oil rig touch and go for the Around the World series, so that's cool. Because I didn't do any in Alaska. We were near some, but we didn't do any. see anything rendered in yet. Watch it just be like a seaplane runway or something like that, where it's absolutely useless to me. Been thinking about going to fly somewhere like this. There's a lot of significantly different places that you can go fly, especially doing like oil rig flights and stuff like that. Never looked at Papua New Guinea, but I feel like you'd have a lot of Australian pilots here. Because then again, we're also extremely close to Australia. So I feel like Australian companies would probably be running this. They'd have stuff based off out of Australia. I think OL 397 is a oil rig or oil platform of sorts, but we'll find out here shortly. And if it's nothing, we're heading that way, so no big deal. Not a huge detour. I don't see anything yet. Usually the rigs are pretty visible. Look, but I'm trying to lose altitude here. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Speed where I lose control of my cyclic. Oh, there it is. Slowly spawning in. like to set down all this just because it's our first oil rig that we've seen. Classy C's kind of annoying though. It's just like blue. Not a fan. Especially when we're losing 3,000 feet a minute. Nice and controlled. It's definitely not the approach to do, but ocean was just so fucking boring to look at. I kept some altitude. Yeah, I think we did pretty good. Barely, but we're on here. Probably the appropriate landing spot as well, although we should have come in from this angle. Let's see. Everything's good. Everything's still in the green. Sick. Love it. Park brake off. Pulling up. Pulling out. I'm not going to really care the direction that we're going. I just want to grab some speed and get over the water as quick as we can. Just because it is looking relatively boring today. Not a lot of waves, not too windy, so not a lot of visual reference to look at. Plus we're gaining a lot of fucking altitude. I can stay slightly lower. Tell you what though, this helicopter just eats. It has fucking power and it has lift. And it just eats whatever you throw at it. Yeah, first little oil rig touching and going. Not bad. It's like the ground looks, well, not the ground, but the shore looks so much closer, but it's just because we gained altitude, even though I was leaning forward pretty heavy on the cyclic. I didn't want to go up to 2,000 feet, but here we are at 1,600, so kill some of that down, trade it off for airspeed. don't mind me, I'm going to do a quick voice text because I have a friend messaging me about something relatively important. I had definitely looked into the 457 previously. I'll start comparing those with the stuff that Dom said. Okay. This thing's just eating altitude. I'm already at 3,000 feet because I wasn't fucking paying attention for a few seconds. Get rid of that. I do not want to be this high. It's also easier to manage altitude when, like, you can see trees. As soon as you're not paying attention to this thing, it just throws you up. I'm not saying this one would be a nice helicopter for the self-centering cyclic, where I could set it and start trimming it out, but it'd be a good candidate for that. Spawn in. Negative. Cool. Centered. That seems to lift my fucking screen for just a second. Bounce out of here. Oh. Oh, wait. Tug. I assume those are all tugs. They all have the same first name. The place we're looking for is like just up here or something. Or are we much further in? I feel like it's close-ish. Why is my mouse being slow? Okay, yeah, that is the place I was looking for over there. Come on. Set. Which we have 5,400 pounds of fuel. It's more than enough to get close to where we're going. And this will be a solid airport to take what's rightfully ours. And use that to ensure that we get where we're going. Mirror here is kind of fucking useless. I'm even looking at nothing back here. What's the name of this place? Give me a name. I'm doing my radio call. For once. Try to be good, you know. Not gonna give me a name yet. I probably can't see because of the clouds. Perfect. Perfect. Bravo Tower, this is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Fuckwagon. We are 12 miles to your west, inbound for the ramp. Gonna get some fuel, Bravo Tower. Babo? Yeah, probably Babo. altitude off. Wow, so fucking high. Like I said, this helicopter likes to eat. Maybe I'm like 1,000 feet a minute. Helicopter, Teminabaun Tower. This is Volkswagen. We are 6 miles to your west, inbound for the ramp. Bow Tower. Boring color of water. Goodness. I mean, I get rainy season and stuff. God, that's just... Oh, it's like depressing, but just... Ugh. Blood rolling flying over this is a river. But hey, look south of us. I see mountains. Good news. It's good news. Oh, really? It's kind of east of us, but we're kind of going that way. It's a good thing. Why are you gaining altitude? Literally, I basically have no collective in here. Guys. Honestly, I don't think this place has a tower. Babo traffic. This is Volkswagen. We're on a turning base for runway 20, something. We're turning final. Okay. Basically in a little auto rotation right there. Feeling altitude and our rotor speed was starting to pick up. We kept it out of the red. So that's why I didn't descend as quick as I'd like, because I definitely did not set up an approach that was worth a damn on that whatsoever. That was on me. We're just kind of doing it, you know? Actually, they had pads here. So what we'll do, instead of crowding all the airplanes, we'll just set on a pad and say they brought a truck over to us. This fueling up so we can see our total fuel pounds. Click up to 68.87, which is topped up. And let's get out of here. Bobo traffic helicopter fuckwagon departing from helipad 1, departing to the southeast. Bobo traffic. I'm blowing like 7 of these houses away as we do this. That's their fault. For not being Chinook proof, that they had it coming. Your house can't take a Chinook, is it really a house? Water's much cleaner on this side. Not much. Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind. Still kind of browning. Which I can't say much. The lake I live on looks like that. And on we go. A lot more rivers, a lot more hills. Now we've got like another 2/3 of the journey, if I remember right. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do tablet it here so I can see it better. Not look down all the way. So yeah, as you can see, we did a quarter of the trip there. And now we just gotta lean into it now. Heading still 1-2. Looks like we're heading to the right of the peak of the mountain up there. We'll just stay on course. If we need to throw silly altitude at it, we can throw silly altitude at it, but I don't think we need to. I'm just glad this water looks... I mean, it even looks better over on this river than it did the last one we crossed. I can't imagine all the wildlife that lives out here. There's gonna be so many fucking native species and shit that I just had no idea existed. I'll say it looks like a snow peak up here, but it's not. Whatever that wire clearing is on top of that mountain, that's kind of our aiming point. Bless me. Sorry about that, guys. dock area. Good for them. I'll tell you what, though. The existential dread of doing this series, or maybe it's just today's episode, since there's not a lot to look at. I mean, way different geography than anything else we've flown over. All this. I mean, Alaska had river networks and stuff like that. But nothing like this. Nothing like this. I assume these are, I don't want to say tidal dependent, but I assume these rivers fluctuate with the tide, because I think like we're still pretty low. We haven't been anywhere like this yet, so this is completely new geography as far as the stream goes. But the existential dread of going, damn, we really do have more, a lot more to go. I mean, the series is heading west, but right now we're heading more east than anything. That's for Tom. He's not even here tonight. But hopefully he's here doing all the Australian stuff. He can even tour guide for us a bit some. Got a rainbow. Very cool. Which means the moisture's over there and the sun is over there. You have to be backwards. The sun has to be behind you, because the light comes in. All the different colors bend it a different way, but the light will come into a water droplet, bounce, and then bounce back. So that's why you being here, the light source being here, comes through, bounces, bounce back, and that's why you see it. That's why it's circular shape as well. If you haven't watched the Veritasium video on rainbows, it's very interesting. I had no idea water did that. And that's why also whenever you're flying and the sun, like let's say you're an airliner, and it's like high noon and you look down the clouds and you kind of see the white circle, brighter circle around you, that's technically a rainbow, but it just hasn't been separated out all the way. After that second reflection, it kind of just doesn't keep the rainbow look back, so it'll kind of come in. Well, that's annoying. Stay lit up. Come in, and then kind of shine back up. So it's all light refraction. Actually, no, that's wrong. What am I talking about? It has to be behind you. So there might be a rainbow, but then you would. Much more, because it's also like at a certain angle. That's why it's a circle or an arc, because you have to be at like a 37-degree angle for that rainbow or something to show at you. It's all angles and refractions, shit like that. Anyway, worth the watch. Here's the question. Is that a cloud, or is it just there was a cloud on the mountain when they did the satellite imagery and that just stuck for the long distance looks? It looks like it's moving. Go down. Oh no, it's like a cliff growing, but it's... okay, weird. More people in here, guys. Feel free to say hello in chat. Gives me something to yap about, or else we're just going to be sitting here doing some helicopter ASMR along with me breaking the silence whenever I think about something. So that was a cliff face that we were seeing. It's a lake. Big ass lake, huh? Okay, stop giving me altitude. I get it. I'm just doing some of my reckoning. crazy stream tonight, guys. Sorry I'm throwing so much at you here all at once. Turn coordinator would be nice for this. A functioning slip indicator. I don't think this is bare ground. I think that's trees. I think it's just not rendered in. Course here, to the right a bit to work around that peak with the clouds and stuff. Couldn't tell what was going on. Had an idea. We should do a food truck or a food trailer or something like that, and only sell like meal prep style foods, ground beef and rice, or chicken and rice, like sweet potatoes, like have a few different options for like what can go in it. And then that's what we make, and that's only what we make. Like, just like 3 protein options, like rice or potatoes, and like 2 vegetable options. And it's all like the same $7 or whatever. How hard is it to make a food trailer? How much money would that cost? I got a name for it. I'm not going to say the name because it's too good. What direction did we go? Still 1, 2, 1, 3. And maybe even do the meat and vegetables by like weight increments. Like, okay, cool, half-pound beef, three-quarter pound beef, full pound beef, you know, of course priced appropriately. Because me, I'm kind of on a cut, so I've been doing half-pound of beef for my lunch serving. But I know I'm definitely significantly more hungry than that. So, could be interesting. The name's good. The name's real good. Would be needed. Fridge, freezer, power, generator. I wonder what the legal regulations are to making a food truck. Like, obviously, you have to have a business license, an LLC, or whatever. But I'm curious if there's a how does the FDA regulate it? Or how do food trucks, like, is it a city thing, a county thing? And if you have a license in one county, can you go to other counties? Because I want to say that there was like some issue with that near where I live, where like it wasn't registered in a certain county, so you couldn't operate in our county because I don't know, something like that. Which, if it's too much shit like that, because I don't live anywhere near the city. If it was something where I could go out to like towns and festivals and stuff and do it on the weekends, and if I felt like it, go up and do it in town, then sure. But for the most part, wouldn't be looking forward to it if it was a shit ton of paperwork and bureaucratic type shit. Love living in a free country like America, where the biggest thing holding you back from running a business is the government itself. I hear you. Barely do anything though. You're just chilling. It's super nice to you. Tom has joined. What's going on, Mr. Tomothy? Welcome to the Boeing Chinook. We're currently somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere. Distances are unknown. As you can see, we are. Turn back on. So we're heading down to Ewer. Like a third. A bit more than a third of the way done. I'd say half point's gonna be here-ish. Yeah, we're just trucking. Picked the Chinook since I figure we haven't done it in a while, and this we want to do a longer day, so I figured 140, 150 knots, no big deal. And that's what we're doing. Actually, I want to make this like a car GPS sort of thing. So you said something, can't stay for long, 15 minutes max. Oh, that's cool, glad you're here regardless. I was saying earlier before you got here, I was like, I hope Tom's busy today. I hope it stopped raining enough to where whatever he's doing is available to be done and he's just not sitting around. So hoping you're not here, but for the right reasons, you know. And look who's with us. Because this is not a single pilot vehicle. We have our old friend, Elaine. Gross. I can hear the disgust now in chat. Everybody keep your booze to yourself, she's already been told. You're doing stuff. Hell yeah. That's what I want to hear. Got to go rip some post. Good. I'm assuming that's not slang, and I assume you actually mean doing like fence posts or something like that. Yep, fence posts, that's what you said. Cool. I was not far off then. Unlike I am here, I am very far off from our target today. I wanted to do some fucking distance, so I gave it to myself today. I was even looking at this particular path yesterday or the day before on Google Maps, checking out different airports and stuff in the air, and there's not much. There's not many. This was almost like a necessity to do something like the Chinook, just because of the distances required. Like if you were to strategically hit your airports, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if you were fighting a headwind in some of the other helicopters, you were cutting post out of big box. Hell yeah. Is it a log y'all are pulling from property, or y'all bringing lumber in from somewhere else? Yeah, so if you don't plan your route properly, or if you had headwinds that were too strong and you were in a smaller capacity helicopter, or a lesser range helicopter, then today's trip would have been a difficult one. But to just straight through, because there was an airport that's like up here. I think, yeah, I wanted to stop there. We were doing a different aircraft, but since we're doing the Chinook, we have a lot of available power and range available to us. We can always jump down here to Wyack, because they have a solid setup if we need to divert because of a headwind issue. But for some reason our fucking Garmin over here doesn't work. So I can't tell you what ground speed is, sadly. Oh yeah, we hit an oil rig earlier. To the world's worst approach to it. This Chinook, unless you are like completely down on the collective. If you have any airspeed, you're pretty much gaining altitude. You have to fight to keep this fucking thing down, so I'm over the water at 2,000 feet, and I'm just fighting to get this thing to lose altitude just because it likes it so much. And we were cruising 150, so slowing down from 150, losing altitude over water that was like glass, so I really had no vertical or visual references other than getting into the instruments. Yeah, we got over it and did just like a super slow, straight down descent onto it. How long ago? 30 minutes. It was before our fuel stop. Our fuel stop was near the water, and it was when we first got onto the water then. Yeah, super shitty approach, but I'm not a big fan of the Chinook as far as maneuverability goes. I like it though because it's a missile and it has range, which is what I wanted today. I also have no idea how long I've been streaming. It honestly feels like it's been like 2 or 3 hours that we've been in here. Hour and a half, okay. Hour and a half, I'm assuming we're halfway through. Yeah, we're getting there. It's about what I expected. I said 3-ish hours or so, and of course we didn't start flying immediately once we got in. We kind of had to correct some things or whatever. But, yeah. About on target. Give or take enough. Ocean to the left. Hello, Pacific. Yeah, hour 45. Not too bad. The route fought me a little bit at the beginning. I think I spawned in on the runway, so it was running, so I needed to restart and reset up the route because of the restart or whatever, so a few more minutes in lobby, so probably into air with our fuel stop. And I did one stop on the oil rig and one stop in a field because I wanted to check if we were leaving crossfeed on or not for this helicopter, but yeah, hour and a half-ish in the air. Not bad. 441 nautical mile trip, averaging 140, 150. So 3 hours is a solid target with little detours and stops. And, me looking at the iPad for a minute here or there, to a point to where it starts throwing altitude at me instead of continuing to move forward. Because any micro move with my hands here just feeds and compounds. So right now I think I'm holding it still. If I pull back slightly, you'll see our vertical speed indicator just multiplies up. And that was from maybe a millimeter of finger movement. This is the pitch of this helicopter is like a fucking snowball machine. Snowball machine. It snowballs. It's weird. The other helicopters seem to, I won't say level themselves off, but they seem to hit an equilibrium point. With this one, it's like, if you're not dead on, it'll start feeding and multiplying whichever direction you're in. And even if you are able to hold it completely still, as soon as you go over a mountain range, or you get a little change in headwind or something, that little bit of airspeed difference will just feed back into itself, adding or subtracting your altitude away. I don't say it's difficult to fly if you're flying a fucking boat. It's not any more difficult than any of the other helicopters. It just has like different considerations while on the move. Got about. See ya. Thanks for dropping in. Have fun ripping them post. It is Pride Month, so I guess you're allowed to rip as many posts as you want to. Yeah, it's weird handling characteristics. I mean, already, like, you have to keep the pedals straight-ish, and really the only use of the pedals is to trim your directionality. But I've been slowly adjusting these things the entire flight, because with the wind change and stuff, this helicopter just seems very susceptible to all external inputs, where, like, if it was dead air, I'm sure there's an equilibrium point where you could just go. But it's like, if you're not trimmed precisely, then it's not even worth it to try to figure it out. What's this down here? But see there, I was looking down for a second, then we start gaining 3,000 feet per minute. Even though I was, in my mind, I had not touched my, or moved my cyclic more than a millimeter, so. Over here, almost cruising at 5,000 feet, which I mean necessary to clear some of these mountains, but. 5,600, we're below the fuel amount that we had when we stopped earlier now. Which that should, yeah, we're about the same distance from there to there as we are here to there, so. Now what we're going to kind of do is aim for this point here. That will be our spot. I don't want to gain billions of feet of altitude. It's so nice at top to drop in. So yeah, it would be a rice cooker or a wok. Preferably some sort of like restaurant-sized rice cooker. A steamer, or like a big wok or scuttle or something to do vegetables in. I've never done sweet potatoes for meal prep, so I don't know what the best way to cook those is. I'd have to look into that, but I know that's a popular thing. Could all be cooked in beef tallow, clean ingredients. It'd be doable. Just a matter of finding out where to, or how to even break into that world and how to look for the little town square festivals and events going on where you can set up as a vendor. There's multiple ones, figuring out which one you want to be at or trying to get your name in the pack early. It's like, okay, cool, maybe a vendor spot's $500 to set up. Like, are you going to make $500 from your food there? Who knows? Not me. It's so far out of my wheelhouse. I don't think it would need to be a super big trailer setup. I feel like you could be very, very efficient with everything. I feel like there's a lot of ways to do everything just so much better than a lot of people, a lot of little things to think about. I don't want to say get a better experience out of it. Looks like a little bit of civilization up over there. Not much though. Yeah, just like making sure you have a quiet generator, and then putting the generator, or having like a foam sound insulated box to put the generator in, and then routing the exhaust somewhere up and over your setup, so that way you're not really worried about sound, or there's a lot of ways to do it to make it significantly better. I don't think there's a lot of need for a lot of power. You have fridges and freezers, as long as they stay closed and they're holding their temperature. So those are very light power draws. The biggest power draw really would be the rice cookers. Exhaust fans would obviously be a thing. I would assume putting air conditioning on the trailer would be widely accepted by myself and anybody working in a trailer in the hot sun. I need a couple of eyes to cook the different meat types. Need a eye or two for steaming or stir frying of 2 of the vegetables, so 4 eyes really. Because I would like to keep them separately, because I do have different cooking styles for the meats, and I've got different cooking style for the vegetables as well. So being able to run those with different temperatures and pots or cookware, whatever you'd like to consider it. I've got collected all the way down right now. If you can see me pulling back, oh, I am getting some feedback there again. But if you have a certain angle, the collective, or the cyclic just doesn't seem to work. So you really have to throw collective in to give the blades enough authority to do meaningful change to pitch. Gilberto, oh, there's a new name in here. Hold up a second. Give me a second. Hello, helicopter around the world, correct? Long flight. Yeah, it's going to be a long flight. As you can see, today's episode 33. We started out in the state of Georgia over in the United States. And we are currently over, or not over, but we're getting very close to Papua New Guinea. That being said, we don't have to go this way. We're doing this as a way to divert to Australia, because Tom, who was in here earlier, is from Australia, so we want to make sure that we can kind of hit on our viewers' countries, especially if they're around as much as he is. He's here just about every day. Yeah, so we're expecting... I'm thinking 120 episodes. So another 90 or so episodes from today, hopefully, will be landing back at home. What I want to do in my free time past that, who knows? 33 flights from Georgia to Asia, going east to west. We are going west. Mainly because I didn't want to do my... Canada to Greenland, Greenland to Iceland, Iceland to the UK, all within like the first week, because that would make me not want to do the rest of the series. So now going west from the east coast of the US basically got me all the way up to Alaska before I did a water crossing, and that water crossing wasn't that bad. So until I get to a bad water crossing, which will be the UK, Iceland, Greenland crossing, I'll be 100 episodes in, and I won't be able to bitch out once I get to that point. I'm way too invested. Georgia, correct. I'm way too invested in it now for myself, and I would assume anybody that's watching. But we're doing 3 hours a day on average. Some days a bit shorter, some days a bit longer. Today's going to be about a 3-hour flight. I think in the real world, the record, if you want to call it a record, there's not many people who have done it, but it's around 250 to 260 hours total. But we're adding some extra legs on to go look at different places, some exploring, stuff like that. Yes, in VR as well. I don't think I've streamed not in VR, but when I first got Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and my control setup here, I did it without VR, and helicoptering precisely is just about impossible without VR or without the eye tracking, head tracking tool, whatever it is, the Toby. I think it's called Toby. Either way, I didn't have that. I wanted to do VR because I want to be able to look out the window and see stuff, and I really got the setup to begin with to Georgia plane spotting what's going on. Oh, it's you? Of course. I figured it was a long-ass name. I was like, I'm assuming it's an alt, but either way, gave me something to chat about. And for anybody who was in here that hasn't spoke, because I think it's you, me, and Ronnie in here as far as the knowns. But I got this whole setup to learn how to hover around and do approaches and fly helicopters. And VR makes that so much better. So, yeah, Tom's off doing work stuff today. He said he's ripping post, which I don't know if that's a Pride Month thing or if he's actually talking about fence post. But, yeah, dude, how's Virginia? How's everything going? How was the museum? Even though it wasn't an air museum that you went to. Four-word name followed by a suffix. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, man, that's a fucking wild name. But also, like, I know Hispanic people who are extremely proud of their 77 different names. So I didn't want to judge. Museum's alright. I'm not the type of person to enjoy normal museums. Oh yeah, I can get that. Now I think for me I can definitely work on the appreciation of a lot of different museums, even if it's not a cool museum, if you want to say that. Like art museums, I still probably don't understand, but I can appreciate good pieces of art and talent when I see it. Looks like we actually have some pretty stout mountains to work ourselves over up here. That's cool. Not a fan, though, of cloud cover. We'll see. We may end up fucking soaring the skies at 15,000 feet today once we get up over here. We'll have to see what this feeds us, though. But yeah, like, as far as museums, like, when I was younger, it was kind of a move around, see the cool stuff, look at it, and go, okay, nifty, and then move on. I'm still the same. I still pretty much just want to see the cool stuff. But I do typically look at everything. If it's something that I have even a slight bit of interest in, I'll start reading into it. If it's something that I'm completely unsure why it's in the museum, I'll look into it. There are some things where it's like I could just care less, you know? Obviously. Like if we were going somewhere and it was like a fucking museum on shoes, I'd be like, okay, cool, like I don't care. I'm not going to be happy there. I'm not going to get into looking at anything. Like the biggest things that I could see would be any weird historic shoe or boot that was there, like very specifically. How much longer do we have? I've noticed it's been quiet in chat today. Yeah, it's been relatively quiet today. You off doing stuff, Tom's off doing stuff. Ronnie's more of a watcher, but that's okay. But we're a bit more than halfway now. Probably like an hour and 20 minutes left or so. Ooh, a lot of rain once we get down south. We maybe end up following the coast down here. not, no big thing. People have lives. I'm not paying anybody to be here, so I don't expect anybody to be here. Plus, this, at least the first half of the stream today, was more of a water crossing disguised as just a whole bunch of trees. And that's about all the first half, or the first third, first quarter was. That's what it felt like to me, at least. At least now, though, we have some geography to work through here. But yeah, I do feel like today has been more of a chore leg, if you want to call it that. Not a whole bunch to see, although it is very different geography than what we've been used to. It still just seems more like a chore of a transit day today. But that's okay. That's part of it sometimes. Might cut the trip short. They don't have anything planned after tomorrow. Well, if you do make it back, then I'll be at the fly-in, like probably like noon to 3, noon to 4, somewhere in there. Haven't decided quite a time yet, but I always say opt for being somewhere that's different and unique compared to where you usually be. Like if you have the option to be up there, I don't know if you're staying in a hotel or with family or whatever, don't know how close you are to your family. If it's some like weird, crazy, far out there people that you see like once every decade and you don't really care to see them again, but you go back just because it's part of the family or whatever, it's like, okay, cool, I could see leaving early. But if it's people that you enjoy spending time with, you enjoy spending time with them. Don't want to jinx anything or put a fucking bad juju on something, but you know, tomorrow's never guaranteed, and you don't want to ever be in the position where you say, you know what, I wish I spent more time with this person, or I wish I did more of this or more of this. Yeah, with that said, I don't think I'll be streaming Saturday night. Hello, clouds. Let's try to stay slightly low, shall we? Although y'all don't look that thick. I may just let you climb through it. I don't know if I'll stream Saturday. We'll see what the course would be. Aim for this gap over here. I don't know what the course would be after tomorrow or Friday. If I do another longer leg tomorrow, there's a chance that we can head towards Australia the day after. But that depends on tomorrow, and it depends on if I call tonight shorter. Fly-in is the 7th? Yes. I'm in a hotel. My parents live about 45 minutes away in Lynchburg. Oh, okay. Like, I don't want to say like default to doing stuff with the parents, but like I said, I never want to be in the position of that hole close-up, so we're going to take this hole over here. I always, if I'm doing something, work out, it's always asking my mom, my dad, hey, you want to go here with me? You know? I'll pick you up, we'll go out to eat, we'll go shopping, I'm just doing something, whatever, nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm always trying to do something because I don't want to be at that point one day where I said I wish I did more, or I wish I spent more time. So that's all a personal call too. You know, it's Sunday morning is United's first flight into Meridian Airport, Portugal. You know, that island airport with the wind and the crazy. Oh, yeah. Where's the plane leaving from? You said it was into, so where are they coming from? Okay, we're going to do a little sneaky push over this. And I'm assuming the ceiling's about the same on the other side of this ridge, which I have okay visibility, like 2 miles on the other side. But we're going to assume the ceiling continues to stay about as it was in our little valley right there. Yeah. I like what I see. Cool, cool, cool. So I'm taking this valley. I didn't want to get up there and get stuck up and then have to go back down, so I'll take this down on the off chance that it was a little bit hazier. But I'm okay with this. This worked out. It's almost like there's no clouds here when it's nice and clear like this. Leaves Newark, okay. What is United doing? They get a new CEO or something where they're fucking doing all this pushing? I'm curious why they're opening up all these paths, all these new legs. Because I know a lot of times, like, the regional airports, like Columbus, well, Columbus is a bit more, I won't say used or whatever. But, like, I can understand Columbus having a bit more traffic coming through the regional down there, just because you have the base down there where people are graduating, so you have families that fly in for basic training. Is basic down there? I feel like basic's down there for the Army. Either way, you have military base down there, so families, friends, and stuff coming down. I'm assuming it's basic for Army, I believe. On top of that, big military base. You have Columbus, you have Phoenix City. There's really no other airport convenient to that area. Atlanta is 2.5 hours away. 2 to 2.5, 2 hours, hour and a half. Whatever, you know, it's not fucking close. Going down to Florida is not close. So I can understand Columbus being what it is, where it is. The Macon airport, though, they do have some flights that come out of there, but you're kind of like, why? I don't get it. I guess it makes it slightly closer for, like, Valdosta people, but it's still like there's no big legs coming out of Macon. I also have a trip planned to North Carolina, the 16th through the 21st. Then in July, I'm going to Jekyll Island. Oh, nice. Yeah, Jekyll's nice. I need to plan a trip sometime. If I go south, it'll probably be Tybee, if anything, because I like being a little bit further away from Savannah. Mountain, or let's see, this is a mountain. So we're going to crest this thing and kind of follow this chute down to the right. There's some helipads or something around here. Let's see what the markers are like. It's all political. I watched, which I'm sure you've probably seen it, but there's a video about how local politicians, or not local, but like state level politicians will get different flight paths added to their little municipal airports. One, to keep the airport alive, because there's not much happening at Macon, honestly. I mean, there's the... Isn't there like an Embraer and Bombardier place down there, or something like that? Like, there's a few bigger or larger airplane type repair places down there, or refinishing or overhaul, whatever. Anyway, there's some bigger places down there that can take advantage of the size of the airport, or the size of the runways down there. But there's not a whole bunch of general aviation that happens down there. There's not a whole bunch of executive jets that come in and out of Macon. Nope, no bridges yet. Haven't fucking seen any. Dude, this is I don't want to say it's a poor area, but it's like a super low population thing. I don't think we're going to see any until we get to Australia, honestly. Airbus and Embraer, yeah. And small Boeing maintenance. So that's nice, because it's... I don't want to be like, well, they're not taking up the big airport stuff, but it's like, cool, you can't put much more in Atlanta. And Macon has the runway facility to handle decent-sized planes. So it's nice that they have that ability to do that there for the refinishing and whatever they need to do. So there's like a big paint shop and stuff down there as well. Look how vertical this face is up here. I mean, it even shows us like a darker slot in the map there. That's cool. But anyways, yeah, flying. It's on the 7th, Saturday. I'll be there noon to 4. If any of these 6 people watching in here want to meet me down there. Don't know about stream at night. Don't know how tired I'll be from that. Because I'll be fighting the dog the entire time. It's his first big event that he's going to. So I may be exhausted. I may not be. Who knows? If I can throw some time in, it'll be a short leg at that. I don't think I'm going to do Sunday. I think I'm going to go hang out with a friend Sunday during the day out of town. And probably stay at their place just because I don't want to drive home late. Cool river coming down this area. Wow, the trees are growing on that with it being that steep. I can't imagine being on this side and looking over here and be like, oh man, I gotta get up there. SOL, bud. Like, if you could guarantee there's no snakes, which you can't, it would be easy-ish, because you could use roots and limbs and stuff to like climb up as you go, and you're not just walking up a steep hill. Just kind of like a big natural ladder to an extent. But yeah, that's a steep face right there. This little breakthrough, not bad. Just our map. Pretty much follow this right here for a bit now. Yeah, Macon's a weird place. I've flown out of there once, but I also landed back there immediately. Back when I was in the Boy Scouts for the aviation merit badge or whatever. We went down there, and there's one of the fathers in the troop. He was I want to say he was I mean, obviously he was commercial, but I want to say he might have been an airline pilot. But he also did like some instructing, or he either at Low Aviation in Macon, he rented a plane or something. We went up in a Cessna. I got to sit co-pilot. He let me wiggle the yoke a little bit and run the pedals and everything. And it wasn't much more than just straight and level. And I was just kind of too busy looking around to really notice anything else. But at one point he's like, okay, cool, let's start going down. And then I'm still just kind of looking around. He's like, Matt, we're going down. It's like, oh, okay. So I started easing her down, but I was still kind of holding level under clouds. But that's the only time I've been in and out of Macon. That's the only time I've been on the property down there. I will say it was neat. At one point, there was a girl that I was dating who lived down in Warner Robins, and I would have to drive by the south side of the Macon airport. And one day I was going there and down there, and I happened to time it perfectly as whatever the scheduled flight that comes in and out of there like twice a week. It happened to be like right when that was taking off or landing or something. I was like, damn, that was a fucking good time on that one. Yeah, flying small planes is easy. And I think I was like 12 at the time. If I was really paying attention or like showing more interest in it, I'm sure that would have gone further. And that would have, maybe you would have let me do like a bit more directive steering to get it into approach or whatever. But either way, I think that's the only time I've been in a small plane. I can't think of any other time that I've ridden in like a Cessna or Piper or anything. Yeah, I think that's the only time I've ever been in a small general aviation plane. I've ridden in a helicopter once. There was a really rich fella that lives up near where I'm at. And he owned a whole bunch of places. I forget what they were. But he had a big old ranch. A lot of property. And he basically invited a lot of business owners from the town out to it, and invited a whole bunch of like the business owners' friends and family and stuff. So my dad's boss invited us out, and it's like just some dude's house, but there's probably like 3,000 people there because it was like a 4th of July fireworks show or something. But it was one of his helicopters. I think he had 2 friends with helicopters, where they were giving rides to people kind of around the field, where they take off in a field, like it was like a field this big, take off and like come up here and do like a big loop of it. Anyways, I stood in line for like 45 minutes waiting to get in, but the line was just slowly going up because it was like Bell 206s or Robinson, so you only get a few people in there. But anyway, it was a 206L because it was people facing me as well when I got in the back. Might have been a 407, but I'm assuming it was a 206L. But anyways, eventually, like, we were like, okay, cool. They were not doing the flights anymore. They were like, okay, cool, nobody else. Next one will be our last one. So I start walking forward. I only see like 3 people going out to the field, and I was like, hey, there's 3 people going out. Are y'all doing 4 still? Because I'm alone. It wasn't like everybody else there waiting with their significant other. And they're like, no, you're good. You can go out there too. So got to ride in a 206L. And since it was the last flight or whatever of the night, they did a much bigger loop than a previous. So I got like a good 2-minute flight. So that was neat. You know, those are my only 2 like small general aviation experiences. Hell yeah, that's the attitude I want to hear. No shit though, as soon as I'm at fucking 40 hours, and fingers crossed if I get my license at 40, but whatever the point is, whenever I get to my 40-hour mark and get licensed, I'm going to make sure I do a transition course or whatever to the 44. And as soon as I'm comfortable enough with that to start taking people up, then basically any of my friends are allowed to ride with me. If I'm offering them the ride. If they want to go for a ride and it's something where I'm like, man, I don't want to do it right now, whatever, I'll be like, hey, look, you pay 49% or whatever my legally allowed asking amount is, like 49% of rental and fuel or whatever, so I still cover 51%. So it's still me coming more out of pocket than less out of pocket. Whatever that amount is, then I'll give people rides. But if I'm doing it for myself and I'm like, hey, I'm going out, if you want to come along, then people are allowed to come along. Any of my friends, homies, subs that live in the area, whatever it is. But yeah, on top of that, it's like if there's any friends or family who want to go for a ride, whenever I'm not already going, then it's the 49-51% rule or whatever, paying their share, but not more than my share of rental and fluids and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I'll probably do a cross country in an R44 or something down to Columbus. Honestly, no, that'd be fucking money though. Well, with it being tier 1 in Columbus too, them having a spot down there, I could probably go down there one day and fly that area and rent through them. So that way I'm not putting hours to come down there and then come back up. Anyway, see ya, dude. Head to bed. Sleep good. Don't let the bed bugs bite or whatever. It's a hotel. Who knows? But we'll talk to you later. Yeah, there's a FAA regulation or mandate on how much people are allowed to pay you for a ride if you're going somewhere. So if you and your friends are going to the beach and you said, hey, I'm a licensed private pilot, I can fly us to the beach, and then we just get a rental car down there instead of having to drive down for an entire day and spend 5 hours on the road, for my area, 5 to 6 hours on the road. Get down there, spend a day, and drive 5 or 6 hours back. If you have access to an airplane that's part of your club or whatever, then you can say, okay, everybody, it's going to cost us X amount to get down there, so I'll pay whatever my share is, and everybody else can cover the rest of it, whatever that legal amount is, and you can, I don't want to say charge your friends for a ride, but you don't have to be the only one monetarily putting out. It'll be the same as other people pitching in for fuel in a car, or if you're doing a rental car on a trip for pitching out the rental car, but it's still, for FAA legal reasons, it has to be out of your pocket. So it can't be like a $500 rental and they pay $499. There's percentages and stuff that have to be adhered to. So looks like we can get back on our heading here, which will be 1-2-ish like we have been. Now that we're out of the hills and everything. Yep, that's good. Mouse. But yeah, that's all stuff that I need to figure out. I got time to figure it out though, obviously. But who knows, maybe the stream gets super big, we can just buy the helicopter, not to worry about rental fleet. Of course, helicopters cost money to operate every hour, and an R-22 is like $200 of cost, if not more. Because rental fee is usually $290 to $300 an hour. If you buy in bulk, it's like $250. So if you could think $50 an hour rental, what's $2,200 overhaul? It's like, get my calculator out, do some math. Oh yeah, it's gotta be more than that. How much does the Robinson R-22 overhaul cost? $100,000 to $140,000. So let's just say $150,000. If you make $50 profit on rental of an R-22, so let's say it's a $250 per hour rental if you buy in bulk, then you're only going to be able to afford $110,000 worth of overhaul. So, as a business or individual or whatever, your hourly cost on I'll just say like a non, you never plan on overhauling it. You do your 2,200 hours, and then you're not going to worry about the cost of overhaul because you're either going to sell it to somebody else and let them overhaul it, or you're just going to run into the ground privately on your own property, and you don't worry about the hours or anything. Anyway, just that overhaul itself is $150,000. So you're going to hourly operational cost of just operating with insurance and everything's probably around $150 to $170 an hour. Just to turn it on, to fly it, and enjoy it, you're spending $150, $170 an hour. Which, I mean, not bad. I mean, the cost of owning a helicopter. I mean, your car costs money per minute, per hour to drive. I mean, it's a significantly less cost. When you look at fuel, driving for an hour, let's say you're on the highway, you do 70 miles. If you're in a normal car, let's say it's 30 miles per gallon, and let's say you live in California, godforsaken California, and that's $10 to $15 an hour in fuel. And that's assuming you're doing 30 miles per gallon. If you're in the city or whatever else, then it could be significantly more because you're not getting that same miles per gallon out of it. Insurance cost, having to put, I mean, most people don't put money aside for maintenance, but if you're considering saying, okay, cool, every 36,000 miles, like, we may need to look at brakes. Every 50,000 miles, we need to look at tires. Oil changes every 5,000 to 10,000 miles. Whatever other maintenance, filters, wipers, bulbs, anything that may break. I mean, you do have a $10 to $50 an hour cost for driving a vehicle, which most people don't realize. So, I mean, shit, especially if you're making payments on it. But then you look at some vehicles with low cost of ownership, like, let's just say like a Toyota Corolla that gets, or a Corolla hybrid, because I don't want to do a Prius because that's too, this is specifically a hybrid, like a Toyota Corolla hybrid, it's like 45, 50 miles a gallon. Oil change every 10,000 miles. You have a super fuel efficient tire on there that's a harder rubber compound that doesn't wear down as much. The hybrid system functions as the braking system to slow you down so you don't go through brakes as often. There's a lot less wear and tear on some vehicles just because of how they're used or whatever. The cost of ownership is much lower. But on the other hand, if you go buy a Ferrari, used Ferrari for, let's say, same price as a Robinson helicopter, R22 with 2,200 hours, so $200,000. Let's say you buy a used Ferrari for $100,000. The tires on that are significantly more expensive, just because of size, compound, finding a tire shop who will touch your wheels, which is harder than you would expect on something like that. Oil changes much more often. Higher priced oil, a lot more of it. Higher prices on insurance, obviously. And let's assume that you're driving at the same amount as everything else. I mean, you're spending $100 an hour to drive your Ferrari around. So it's, and it depreciates similar-ish to the helicopter. The plus side of the helicopter is it can be completely overhauled and rebuilt, and then you have that value back in it. With the Ferrari, even if you completely restore a Ferrari from the ground up, it's still a Ferrari with 100,000 miles on it, which is not that appealing to a lot of people just because it's fully restored, but it's got all this mile. What didn't you replace? It doesn't matter if you replaced everything. People are still going to think that it's less. Anyways, cost of ownership of a helicopter is significant, but it's in line with other things that cost that much. So if you're in a position where you can buy a used Ferrari or Lamborghini for $250,000, $300,000, or a new one at $300,000, you know, like if you can afford the maintenance and the oil and insurance and everything else for that, then there's a good chance that you can afford the maintenance and oil and insurance with a helicopter. So the cool thing is too, I mean, I guess the car does it as well. The helicopter can make money on the back end. You know, you can put yourself as a Part 135 and start flying around. As a non-commercial pilot, you can have your friends split the gas anytime they ride with you. Of course, you can do that in anything else, but usually if you're giving somebody a ride in your car, like if my friend has one of my friends, he has a Porsche. He doesn't ask me to pay to ride with him. But if he's like, hey man, I want to go somewhere, could we take the helicopter? Like, that's not going to be an expected I pay for the gas. It's going to be an expected like, okay, cool, well, we're going to pitch in money for you because it's not a cheap thing to operate. And it's looked at differently. So it will cost a little bit less that way. And make you, I don't want to say make you money, but it can make you money on that side. Especially if you lease it out to a flight school. Or if you get your commercial and you want to do flight instruction, you can lease it out through an LLC or whatever that way. And it can kind of help cancel out some of its costs. Although cars do that a bit as well if you play your cards correctly. Just like watches, I'm into watches. So I don't want to say I have a lot of luxury watches, but I do look at them a good bit. And I'm not afraid of purchasing a Rolex, Omega, Tudor, whatever. Black Pawn. I'm not scared of buying one of those if I were to find one that was a decent price and a good deal. And even if it's not something that's the most fancy, crazy, whatever, a $1,500 Hamilton, or a used Omega Speedmaster for $3,000, or a Seamaster for $3,000. Like, it doesn't have to be a $25,000, $30,000 Rolex Daytona. It doesn't have to be that. But anyways, having the nice car, having the nice watch, it's a conversation starter. It can put you in the room with a lot of people who are significantly more well-off than you, or businessmen, or whatever, and they can be treated as a pretty good networking tool. I mean, for example, there's one guy, I don't want to say I'm already in bed with him or whatever. It is Pride Month time. But there's one guy that I'm already friends with because of, my friend happens to live on a lake. And, everybody who lives on this lake has like $1 million+ home. Anyway, he lives across the street from the lake. His house came with the lake rights, so he uses a community dock. It's a private lake. But he's become friends with a whole bunch of people who are very well off in the community. Business owners, retired business owners, just people who know a lot of people and have a lot of net worth. So he put himself in a good position. I'm friends with him, so I'm usually go out on the boat with him. He was the one who I was helping pull the boat out the other, last week. But anyway, he got me friends with a lot of people on the lake there. They know I scuba dive, so when they needed help recovering a boat a month ago, they called me, so I got to go out there and hang out with this guy who had a super successful import-export business. I think he sold it, or he's just a quiet partner or something of it now. But he did very, very well for himself, where him and his business owned a private jet at one point, so he can do stuff with that. So obviously knowing somebody put me in the room with him, but then putting me in more rooms with him or whatever, I helped do this recovery, so that's a cool skill or talent that I had. But also when I was diving, I had a NATO strap on my watch, but it got caught when we were moving something, and one of the spring pins broke. So it's hanging on by one spring pin because the NATO strap's good for that. I wouldn't dive with anything unless it was a really, really solid bracelet or a NATO strap. Or like a cheaper watch on a rubber, like a G-Shock or something. But anyways, I almost lost it, so I put it in the car. There at the water's edge, and we were talking about it. Or just talking about watches in general on the way back to his house. I don't know. I think it was when we were pulling one of the sections of the boat lift that had sunk as well when the storm came through and blew everything over. But, you know, having been near him or whatever, obviously put me in the place where I can have a conversation. But he was also somebody who enjoyed watches. So we talked about watches, and of course there's cost of ownership with those too. Now, Rolexes are great and they run forever, but you do have to have them serviced. We were talking about that, and he was saying like he gifted one to his dad. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's just like a date or something like that. But he was saying he gifted a Rolex to his dad, and he's like, my dad was the guy who would never really buy himself something like that. Like, it's just never been in his whatever. Like, he likes them, like he has a decent bit of money or whatever, but he would never get something like that for himself. Anyways, he bought him a Rolex, like I said, I'm assuming a date, so like $7,000 to $12,000 depending on how it was outfitted, what material, style, etc. But anyways, he got it for me, and he says like, oh wow, it's so nice, thank you. But he had never really looked at it. And he said one day his dad was, he called and he's like, hey, is this thing real? So he was like, he probably looked at the cost of what they are, and then he was like, oh man, did my son really just give me a $10,000 watch, or was it a replica or whatever? He's like, no, it's real. Why do I have caution on? Fuel levels. It should be okay. I also don't know if there's anything wrong with how this thing... Actually, let's head up to this one real quick, and we'll just do a quick splash. We're super close to this anyways. But you shouldn't be flying anywhere to where you're going to be needing that. But I didn't think of fuel level. We have 6,800 pounds on board. Or we start with that, and now we're showing 3,800. So, like, we're not even halfway through. I don't know why the fuck the light would come on. But anyway, he was like, yeah, it's real. Then one day his dad was like, yeah, the watch, it seems like it's not running as good as like 10 years later. And so he's like, okay, well, cool, give it to me. And or he was like, yeah, you gotta maintain it or whatever. So he took it and he sent it off to an AD and had them do a tune-up on it, which is like $1,000 for a tune-up to have it done properly by an AD. I'm sure there's other watch shops that can probably do it for cheap or whatever, but anyway, he sent it to an AD, authorized dealer. And if you keep it up for $1,000 every 10 years doing a tune-up, you know, it's a cool thing to mark a memory. It's a cool thing to have to where you're going somewhere, then you can start striking up conversations with people that you wouldn't have talked to either way, that can put you in a whole lot of different places. You know, I wear some of my nicer ones whenever I help out at a couple of charity golf tournaments for a friend, because he's got a golf ball cannon where we can launch a ball and put it on the green. we'll go help him out with that, and I'll wear my nicer watch, and I always get a lot of these dudes who you know are very well off because they're here doing a charity golf tournament where it's like $5,000 to enter the tournament or something like that for like a $5,000 prize. So like either way, they're giving away the money. That's the name of this airport, so I can make a call. Literally don't know. Whatever airport, this is helicopter 420. Actually, right. Moses Culligan Tower. This is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. Call sign Funkwagon. We are 3 miles to your southwest, inbound for the ramp. Going to steal a little bit of fuel and be on our way. Also, it looks like there's some stout mountains behind it. Look at that. Why are the pins up so high? I'm going to start slowing down a lot more now. Yeah, it's weird that the fuel light came on at half a tank. Or I assume half a tank, or either the crossfeed is pulling it out of some tanks and not putting in other tanks, but it says leave the crossfeed on. So the crossfeed's open. Well, they do have a tower here. Yeah, life lesson. Get yourself a nice watch. Don't wear it in London, though. They'll steal that shit off of you. Looks like our fueling stations across the runway. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say we're a big fucking helicopter that can bring us fuel. We're paying a pretty penny for fuel here. Do to keep from blowing everybody around. Land over here. Down, front tires down, parking brake on, fuel, lights off. Cool, I'm just gonna take all we can, whatever. Anyway, let's finish up this flight. Thank you, whatever tower. Hey, get yourself a nice watch as a conversation starter. Buy yourself a helicopter, it's also a conversation starter. Give it to me, and I'll fly you around. That way you have a conversation starter of why you have a private pilot ferrying you around everywhere. Place we're heading is straight down this way, maybe 50 miles, 150 miles an hour, 25 minutes, definitely not going to be on the radar thing by then. Yeah, that's definitely a big fucking mountain over to our north. This is definitely a floodplainy area. What do you guys think? Goodness. Of course, we're pretty close to the beach. So I don't know if this is tidal dependent or not. But it looks like we have a lot of the feeders coming off the mountains that come down to this area. So yeah, I don't think tidal dependent. I think it's just big and flat, and satellite having to take a picture when it was very much in the rainy season. Why even put these here? I can't turn them on. Or is it just not available in this area? I don't think I can turn those on anywhere else either. They'll tell me I need to pay for it. I'm pop a fucking premium edition. And now we do have rain up here, it looks like. So I'm keeping an eye on the tablet, on the EFB, the electronic flight bag. I'm also watching ahead of me to make sure if I can pick a slightly less rainy direction. I will, as long as I stay in this general orientation, you know. But I can still see horizon through this, so I'm not too terrified at the moment. Damn right you are, Black Coke. I think you'll get me. You're in a Chinook. As you can see, it's called that because of the way that it is. But yeah, as long as I can see the horizon here, I'm just going to keep on punching through and about this altitude. There's sunlight on the ground up here, very cool. Looks like a bright light gap in the clouds. Looks like it's giving us rain on the radar, but it's kind of only fogging us at the moment. Don't want to jinx us though. Don't want to get us into heavy shit here at the end of the stream. Although we do have I think all the big rain days have always been after a bit of a longer push. Now we'll also put us in that bigger clearing down there, for at least what that radar shows.
We flew over a lot of United States, and there was pretty much towns and some form of civilization just about everywhere. Siberia, very uninhabitable, so we didn't see much. But this, I feel like it's relatively habitable. You know, it looks like the ground probably does pretty good for growing stuff. That seems to be not that big of a deal here. Plenty of water. I'm sure it's hot, but it's hot as fuck. But why isn't there more people or stuff out here? I just feel like there should be more, you know? Like, eventually, the planet will have to, or the population will have to expand out here. At some point, you know. Or they just all move to fucking United States and overpopulate us and make me hate this place that I'm in. Am I seeing rain on the windshield? Maybe some drops. Aiming for this chunk of water. Not that it matters too much, but that's the thickest area that we can see there in front of us that I've seen yet. I could favor left, but I'm going to stick right. Just because I have a clear shot to the coast. And also that's closer to what our path is anyways. Also, 6 people in here watching. Thank you guys for being here. Much appreciated. If you're not subscribed, feel free to. We have like 100 more episodes of this. We're getting close to Australia, so we'll have a bit more to look at and talk about there. We even have a man on the ground there in Australia who set up our entire flight plan for the country for us already, and he sent it to me. So we'll be following that and having a tour by him, basically. You'll have him in chat kind of talking about stuff and things, more or less the entire time. We'll be seeing Himalayans and touching base camp because for some reason even though the H-125 is capable of reaching the summit of Everest, it's not in the game. So we have that little bit to contend with. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool sightseeing to do. If you're not subbed, then feel free to do the thing. Also, a like goes a long way. Which I don't expect much today. It's been a super boring stream. But if you come back, please consider it. And if you ever have any questions about what I'm flying, why I'm flying it, what my setup is, computer controls, etc. If you have any questions about that or how any of this works, I'll answer that, or I can yap about just about anything. So you can always toss that in the comments, or you can comment afterwards if you're watching this here in the future, to where you're not watching this live. If you've sat through it this far, then thank you, much appreciated. Slowly curving to the left. I don't need to go all the way to the right. As long as I can see horizon or big showers in front of us, I'm happy. These lighter showers don't seem to be affecting too much, but the bigger showers I'd want to avoid just a wee bit. I don't want to go IFR this low and have an adjustment period to get into the zone, especially with this helicopter being as picky as it is with taking altitude. Not really looking to go instrument this close to the ground. There's a plane or something off to our right, but I'm assuming he's probably way up there. I don't see anything down low, so I see him in the exterior view. Nope. Okay, I can see the horizon through this thicker patch. Oh, it looks like it's dying out, so I'm going to try to swim through it since it looked thinner, just to see what the rain effects look like on this. Cruising 155 knots. Hell yeah. Curious what ground speed is, though. It seems to be basically clearing up along the coast for us. It's nice. So I think maybe I'm getting rain now. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see a little bit of distortion. There's the rain. Okay, that's not bad. We might even be able to see our pin or airport down there somewhere. Oh, we're still too far away? Yeah, we're probably 25 miles away. No, we're probably 35. 5, 10, 15. Yeah, 30, 35 miles. 150 though, ain't no time. Ain't no time at all. Like, I want to follow the rivers, but none of them go the direction that we're going. They all go inland. This one might wet our whistle as we go through. It is cool that you can kind of see it coming down this way. I don't know if y'all can see it with you, but I know I can kind of see the motion or movement of it. It's funny, I was just thinking how uninhabitable this looks. And not 10 minutes ago I was going, I don't know why more people don't live out here. The duality in my mind. It happens though. It's kind of what having an overactive brain is all about. It's not ADHD, it's just there's too much shit to think about, not enough time. Was the last one to say something. Wham is like way up to our north. I was kind of heading that way, but that was just because I was looking at my phone like a responsible pilot, especially when cruising 150 knots. So we're going this way. There's that place, whatever it is. 13 miles, so we're still further than 13 from Ewer. Yeah, we're way closer now. Okay, almost there. No, I don't feel the impending doom anymore. When we first started our flight today, I felt like there was impending doom. I don't feel like it so much anymore. I feel like we're gonna be okay. This damn thing loves turning left. It's probably me, just because I'm used to riding slight left pedal with the Bells and Robinsons and stuff. It's all a me problem, not a Chinook problem. Rainbow. Hey, there's our pen. It finally showed up. Fuel burn up as much as I can. Why? Why not? Listen to those turbines sing and scream at me. Basically looking straight down to get our speed up. Just like the Chinook that was pulling that fucking sled up through the Arctic. May have crossed V&E a little bit there, but that's okay. We were nice when we did it. All good. Cruise glide. I honestly never looked at that gauge before. Change if I do. How do I get bad cruise glide? Maybe the Chinook's just better at gliding than other helicopters, so it has a... I mean, it's got a whole bunch of fucking rotor surface area, so it could be. Big water to the right. And yeah. Shielded from or shielded in a little bit of a cloud or something. Maybe some low-level fog. So I'm sure maybe it's just not pixelating in for me, being that it's close to the water. 15 miles is still too far for a fully lollipop. I'm curious when the full lollipop pops up. I already know where we're going, so I want to watch and see if it pops up at 14 or 13 or what the distance is. I'm curious what the conversion of that is to kilometers. They have it set up where it pops up like a certain kilometer distance away. Ewer Tower, 7420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Fuckwagon. We are 15 miles, to your northwest inbound for runway 45. 45. No, that's downwind 45. For runway 24, Ewer Tower. Assuming we're 15 miles from there at that point. I'm not sure when the lollipop actually gives us distance. I feel like we're closer than 13 miles. Definitely low cloud cover that's obstructing the view. That said, isn't the cloud cover that's not giving us lollipop? I need to drop. Like I said, I feel like we're well within 13 miles. But still, it's a bit away. Last stop, yep. Come on, what's our mileage? Where are we? Show me. Has to be like dead center of my vision. Show me, how far? I need to work on a lollipop setup for. There we go, it's 13.4. Okay, so it pops up at like 15 miles. Yeah, his name's Black Coke, don't you see? This damn helicopter just wants to climb. All she wants to do. This is helicopter. I don't want that altitude. It says, I don't give a shit. You're gonna climb and you're gonna fucking enjoy it, boy. Lollipop, whatever the pin is there that says name of the airport and how far away we are. Now this one, I called that one out there a pin because we're far enough away to where it's not going to give us the information, and then it turns to a lollipop whenever we get near it. I usually fly with those off just because I kind of call them like cheater bars or whatever. And sometimes it'll give us like brackets for our flight path, and I don't want to use the cheater brackets. I want to use the instruments and everything. But sometimes I just like to confirm or see like how far away it is, etc. But only when I already know where we are. I'm working on my spatial distance judgment skills. Because like back there I did a call at 15, but apparently you're at 20. So, like right there, it looks like we're like 5 miles to me, but we're 8.4. So I use it more of a check for myself. Or if I'm interested in like a new area where we're not planning on flying, I'm just like looking for places to land. Like, oh cool, look, there's helipads over there, and there's little stuff over there. Or if I fly over a random airstrip that it doesn't show us the name or whatever on the iPad, then I can click the G button and go like, oh, okay, cool, it's called this, or whatever, you know. Ewer traffic, this is Fuckwagon. We are 7 miles north of the airport on a long sweeping base for final for runway 24, Ewer traffic. Ace, what up? This is our last stop. A 3.5 hour flight today. You want to get a similar setup to this? What is it? I have a something motherboard, couldn't tell you. Graphics card 4070 Ti Super. The CPU is a Radeon 7800 X3D. And those are the two big important things. The motherboard's good enough to handle both of those. The only thing I wish I could change would be a much more expensive motherboard where it could actually power my headset from the motherboard itself, but the motherboard that I have does not give out enough power off of its USB ports on the back to power my VR headset. So I have my VR headset plugged into a wall, and I have a separate independent Wi-Fi router off the back of the computer that links directly to my headset. That's good. You know, there's no latency. Like, my wiggles are exactly whenever I see myself doing stuff, so it's not that bad. But I wish I could just plug it straight into the PC and be happy. But it'll only last us 3 hours or so doing that. But yeah, Ace, I don't know if I'm going to do anything tonight after this. To do helicopter stuff, I think VR is kind of necessary. With airplanes, all your approaches are very, I don't want to say logical, but they're all kind of already set up. You know, like, cool, you have to be at whatever altitude coming in, you have to be at whatever speed, you got to do this, and this. And then you line up with your runway and you're there. With helicopters, it's extremely dynamic, the way that you can come in and land or do different stuff. So I feel like with helicopters it's very helpful to have VR, especially if you're coming into non-runway type things. So don't overspeed, you're good. And being able to look around and do stuff. And like I said, airplanes you can basically just sit in the cockpit and do it. And I don't want to say just fly by instrument, but you can just kind of fly by instrument with airplanes. Let me think helicopters, though, it helps to be able to look around and check different stuff. Like this, hovering sideways, or like slowly shuffling sideways. You really can't check this with an airplane while you're doing it. Basically, the degrees of movement that you have with a helicopter makes it almost a necessity to have VR. Can you do it without? Sure. But it's significantly more difficult. And we are on the ground. Kind of a slope, but the parking brake is set. I'm going to click, right click, scroll down, bring my base. I see you said something. I'll check it here in just a second. There we go. Click down, parking set, cycle, APU switch on, so we turn the APU on. Interesting. APU switch on. Wait until green APU on. Shows on the... Well, I assume I need to do start. That's on. Set hydraulics on. Condition lever set to ground. Already did that. Fuel pumps off. Cross feed off. Condition lever set to stop. So click, right click. Click, right click. Down, down. Once those stop, hydraulic off, APU gen switch off, APU master off, generator control units off, battery off. Easy enough. We'll go ahead and do that. A bunch of lights to police. Pitot heat. And battery off. Okay, cool. That's done. Check. Shift C. Let's see what he says here. Yeah, you can fly with a controller. Joystick makes it better. Especially the way helicopters operate, where you have your collective to your side. Because the big thing with helicopters is if you want to do helicopters, let me get straight in here. So you have your cyclic in the middle, obviously. Can I scoot back any? Yeah. You have your cyclic in the middle, your pedals, of course, that are down here. But this right here, your collective, that is the big thing for helicopters. In a lot of airplanes and airplane controllers, if you look up like a HOTAS, H-O-T-A-S, it'll have like a throttle lever right here, or a throttle something where you pull in and pull out, kind of like a Cessna. And like you can set that as your collective, but it's having this lever here is great. Because you can map that on a HOTAS setup, but I have an actual helicopter controls setup, so that's what makes it that much better. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This is episode 33. We finished our thing, but I'm going to be calling it a night for the night. It was a decently long stream, but not super short either. Not short, not long, kind of mid-length. But anyways, we did some good stuff, and tomorrow we're going to hopefully do this section here. Let me get the map weathered so we can see stuff. So we're right here currently. I would like for tomorrow to get us... What's my fuel look like in here? Let me set this to full just so that way we can see what fuel range looks like to give us an idea. So tomorrow, I would love to get down near here. So that means the stream after tomorrow jumps us to Australia. Now, of course, tomorrow I could finish out the stream and say, guess what, guys, we're doing it, and then do the 40, 50 mile jump here. But I would like to end tomorrow, preferably at Boyuga, and then go from there. I think that's like the last big one or main one. Like there's this one here, Mopa. So that may be our goal, but then that adds an extra, what, 50 or 60 miles. It's like an extra 25, 30 minutes to the crossing day. So I may just deal with it tomorrow and do another, what does it give us for mileage on this one? 339 miles. So yeah, it'll be 3/4 as long tomorrow as it was today, as far as distance wise. Of course, we may bounce around. I don't know if we're going to go straight over. Yeah, dude, these mountains up here were stout because we stopped at Kingland. Anyways, so yeah, that'll be our thing tomorrow. And then the next day, that puts us into Australia. Tom's already set us up a flight plan to go from here, bing, 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 hit here, bing, 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 hit the big bump, zit, whatever that's in the middle. This thing, the big rock. And then bouncing up and up to here. Then we'll have a water crossing day. We'll probably jump this way, I would assume, probably. So that we don't have to go up and then over. We'll just do that. Then all water crossings should be relatively small until we do this jump. That'll be a not that big of a one. This jump will be a big one. Little one here. We'll bounce around here a little bit. Big one, big one, big one, annoying one, big one, and then Tundra, Siberia, just the American version. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. If you're not subbed, please feel free to. We'll be back. As you can tell, we have a lot of episodes coming up. So, Ace, see you tomorrow. Ronnie, everybody, and thanks for watching. See ya!